Hashtag YouTube intro. Police car light huge shakeup in AI today, OpenAI's losing its Futurist, Microsoft's cutting costs, Meta's launching Muse, Netflix is going viral with BuzzFeed, Claude hits mobile, Instagram's using your photos, and we're breaking down your stake in the AI gold rush. Stick around, the last story will blow your mind. High voltage. Microsoft joins AI cost-cutting trend by relying more on its own models. The AI spending spree is officially over, and Microsoft just became the latest tech giant to pump the brakes. After years of throwing billions at external AI partnerships and research, the company is making a strategic pivot toward building and relying on its own models instead. This shift tells us something crucial about where the AI industry is headed, and it's not what many people expected just a year ago. Here's what's actually happening behind the scenes. Microsoft has been heavily invested in OpenAI, pouring tens of billions into the partnership, but the economics of AI are changing fast. Training and running these massive language models costs an astronomical amount of money, and companies are realizing that outsourcing this work to partners means sharing both the costs and the profits. By developing proprietary models in-house, Microsoft gains better control over its technology, reduces dependency on external partners, and keeps more of the value for itself. It's a classic business move when a technology matures enough to internalize. But this matters way beyond Microsoft's balance sheet. We're watching the AI industry consolidate around a few dominant players who have the resources to build everything themselves. Smaller AI startups and research labs that were thriving on partnerships with big tech companies are suddenly facing a much colder landscape. The gold rush mentality is fading, replaced by a focus on efficiency and profitability. This could slow innovation in some areas while accelerating it in others, depending on whether these internal teams can match the creativity of distributed research communities. The real question is whether this cost-cutting trend creates a more sustainable AI industry or just concentrates power even further. Meta rolls out Muse, a new AI image generator. Meta just dropped another AI bombshell, and this one could reshape how millions of people create visual content. The company's new image generator called Muse is now rolling out, and unlike the endless parade of AI tools flooding the market, this one actually has some serious teeth behind it. We're talking about a model designed specifically for real-world applications, advertising, interior design, content creation, the kinds of things that could actually make money for the people using it. That's a crucial distinction because most AI image generators are still stuck in the novelty phase, but Meta's clearly betting that Muse can bridge the gap between impressive demos and actual commercial utility. What makes Muse interesting from a technical standpoint is that Meta's positioning it as a tool for creators and businesses rather than just another toy for generating memes. The company has spent years building out its AI infrastructure, and this feels like a deliberate move to capture the professional creative market before competitors like OpenAI or Google cement their dominance. We're seeing a pattern here where the big tech companies are racing to embed AI into every possible workflow, and image generation is obviously a goldmine if you can make it reliable and fast enough for professional use. The broader implication here is that we're entering a phase where AI tools stop being experimental and start becoming essential infrastructure for creative work. That's exciting for creators who can leverage these tools to work faster and explore more ideas, but it also raises real questions about copyright, authenticity, and what happens to traditional creative jobs when AI can generate professional quality assets in seconds. Meta's betting that Muse will be the tool everyone reaches for, which means they're betting on a future where AI-assisted creation is just how things get made. Whether that future is utopian or dystopian probably depends entirely on how we choose to regulate and deploy these tools. Netflix is about to host videos from BuzzFeed, Condé Nast, and other publishers. Netflix just made a massive bet that the future of streaming isn't just prestige dramas and blockbuster films, it's the messy, chaotic, algorithm-driven world of digital media. Starting August 3rd, the platform is rolling out video content from dozens of major publishers including lifestyle brands, entertainment outlets, and food networks. We're talking hundreds of hours of existing content plus brand new series that would have normally lived on YouTube or TikTok. This is a seismic shift in how Netflix sees itself, and honestly, it's a desperate move disguised as expansion. Here's what's really happening beneath the surface. Netflix's subscriber growth has flatlined. They've squeezed the prestige drama market, they're losing the sports arms race, and they know younger audiences are fragmenting across a dozen platforms. Rather than compete directly, they're basically saying, fine, we'll become the aggregator. It's the same strategy that killed cable, pack everything into one place and hope people stay for convenience. The publishers get guaranteed distribution and revenue. Netflix gets content volume without massive production costs. Sounds win-win until you realize Netflix is betting that quantity can substitute for quality. The broader tech story here is about the collapse of platform specificity. YouTube used to be the home for creator content. TikTok owned short-form video. Instagram had stories. Now every platform is becoming every other platform, and the real winner isn't the consumer, it's whoever can afford to be everywhere at once. For Netflix, this is admission that their original content strategy alone can't sustain growth. They're pivoting to become a content utility, which means less risk but also less differentiation. In a world where AI is starting to generate video at scale, Netflix is racing to lock down human-created content before it becomes worthless. That's the real story nobody's talking about. Anthropic is launching Claude Cowork on mobile and web. Anthropic just made a strategic move that signals where the AI industry is heading, and it's bigger than it might seem on the surface. Claude Cowork, their collaborative AI platform, is finally breaking free from the desktop prison and launching on mobile and web starting this week. For the first time, you'll be able to access this tool from your phone or browser, with Max subscribers getting first dibs before it rolls out to everyone else. This isn't just about convenience, it's about recognizing that the future of AI work happens everywhere, not just at your desk. Here's the business context that makes this significant. Anthropic has been building Claude into a serious productivity tool, and Cowork represents their answer to how teams actually collaborate in 2026. By keeping it desktop only for so long, they were essentially limiting their addressable market. Mobile and web access removes that friction entirely. Max subscribers are getting priority access, which is a smart retention play. It gives premium users exclusive benefits while building momentum for the broader rollout. This is the classic freemium expansion strategy, and it works because it creates urgency without alienating the free tier. The broader implication here is that AI assistants are graduating from novelty tools to infrastructure. When a company invests in making their AI platform accessible across every device and every context, they're betting that this becomes as essential as email or messaging. Anthropic is essentially saying that Claude isn't just for coding sessions or late-night brainstorming anymore, it's for your commute, your meetings, your collaborative workflows. That's a fundamental shift in how AI companies view their products, and it's going to push the entire industry toward more seamless, omnipresent AI integration. OpenAI's chief futurist is leaving the company. #OpenAI's safety chief just walked out the door, and that's a massive red flag. Another major departure from OpenAI signals something seriously shifting inside one of AI's most influential companies. Joshua Akeem, who spent nearly 9 years as the company's chief futurist and head of safety research, is leaving, and this isn't just another executive shuffle. This is the person who was literally testifying in court about AI safety concerns during the Musk versus Altman trial, and now he's walking away right as the stakes for AI development have never been higher. Here's what makes this significant: Akeem wasn't some mid-level manager. He was OpenAI's conscience, the researcher tasked with making sure the company's increasingly powerful AI systems don't spiral into dangerous territory. He spent nearly a decade building safety frameworks, publishing research on alignment, and apparently, being willing to speak uncomfortable truths in a legal setting. The fact that he's departing now, in 2026, when AI capabilities are advancing exponentially and regulatory pressure is mounting, suggests internal tensions about how seriously the company is taking these concerns. When your safety chief leaves, it raises hard questions about whether safety is actually a priority or just a PR talking point. The broader tech industry should be paying close attention here. We're at an inflection point where AI companies are racing to build more powerful systems, and safety research is increasingly being treated as an obstacle rather than a necessity. If top talent like Akeem are leaving because they feel their work isn't valued or their warnings aren't being heeded, that's a canary in the coal mine for everyone betting on responsible AI development. This departure matters because it tells us something about what's really happening behind closed doors at the company that's shaping humanity's relationship with artificial intelligence. Meta now lets anyone use your Instagram photos and AI images unless you opt out. #Meta's AI photo grab. Your Instagram images are now fair game. Meta just made a decision that's going to affect millions of Instagram users whether they realize it or not. The company is rolling out its new Muse image model, and here's the kicker: they're automatically using public Instagram photos to train their AI image generator unless you actively opt out. This isn't some distant hypothetical anymore. This is happening right now, and most people have no idea their vacation photos, selfies, and carefully curated content are being fed into Meta's AI machine. Let's talk about why Meta is doing this and what it means for the AI landscape. Training image generation models requires massive amounts of visual data, and Meta has access to billions of photos through Instagram. Rather than licensing images or negotiating with photographers, they're taking the path of least resistance, using what they already own. From a business perspective, it's brilliant. From a user perspective, it's ethically murky at best. The opt-out model is particularly aggressive because it relies on users knowing about this policy and actually taking steps to prevent it. Most people won't. This is a calculated bet that inertia will work in Meta's favor, and historically, they've been right about that. But here's what really matters: this is a watershed moment for how tech companies view user-generated content. We're entering an era where your photos, your writing, your creative work can be vacuumed up to train AI systems that might eventually compete with creators themselves. Meta's move will likely embolden other platforms to do the same thing. The question isn't whether this is legal, it probably is, given Meta's terms of service. The question is whether it's right, and whether we're comfortable living in a world where opting out of having your image used for AI training is the default burden on users rather than the burden being on companies to ask permission first. The download, your stake in OpenAI, and the Treasury's AI warning. Sam Altman just dropped a proposal that could literally put money in your pocket, and it's sparking a massive conversation about who actually owns the wealth that AI creates. The OpenAI CEO is reportedly discussing a plan to distribute shares of AI-generated wealth directly to American citizens, and suddenly everyone's asking whether this is genuine innovation in economic policy or just brilliant PR. Either way, it's forcing us to confront a question we've been avoiding: if artificial intelligence is going to reshape the entire economy, shouldn't ordinary people benefit from it? Here's the context that makes this actually significant. OpenAI isn't just some startup anymore, it's one of the most valuable AI companies on the planet, and its technology is already embedded in how millions of people work and create. Altman's been talking about universal basic income and wealth distribution for years, but now he's putting a concrete number on it. Reports suggest every American family could see around $300 in annual value from AI systems. That might sound small, but it's a symbolic shift. It acknowledges that AI isn't just a tool for corporations to hoard, it's infrastructure that society built together, and society should share the returns. The broader implication here is that we're entering a new era of tech accountability. Governments are already nervous about AI concentration of power, and the Treasury Department just issued warnings about AI risks to financial stability. Altman's proposal, whether it becomes reality or not, is reframing the conversation from how do we regulate AI to how do we ensure AI benefits everyone. If this catches on, it could fundamentally change how we think about ownership and distribution in the age of artificial intelligence. The question isn't whether AI will transform our economy, it already is. The real question is whether we'll let a handful of companies keep all the gains. Thanks for staying updated with Neural Brief. Hit subscribe and turn on notifications so you never miss tomorrow's biggest tech stories. See you next time.